Yes, I'll send you greetings from City Center. That's where I worship. So it's great to be back here. I think it's been a long time. The last time was, I think, at least 5 years ago when we did the missions update. So it's been some time. It's good to stand here again, although last time I was up there and now I have to come down. Okay, it's good to be back in Singapore. I was in Nepal for 2 months in March and April. So I missed two things. The first thing I miss is, of course, the food. I mean, Singapore is so blessed with so much food, so many variety. I mean, in Nepal, we only eat the same kind of food, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's always the same. But when I come back to Singapore, I'm immediately bombarded with this comforting selection and choice of food. And honest to say, I've not had a single meal twice since I came back. That's 2 weeks. Okay, so 2 times 3, wow. 30 meals of different food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's the first thing I really miss, and I'm glad to be back for that. Second thing I miss is the worship. I think in Center of New Life, the greatest blessing is to be able to soak in God's presence and to be ministered by the worship team. Last week at City Center was awesome. This week at Jurong West is equally awesome. So I praise God for the ministry that we have in this church. Okay, without further ado, I will share today's sermon. Don't worry, I will not ask you to do daring faith things like empty your pockets like the other time. Okay, the first, the title of the slide is A New Power for Life. I think when the Holy Spirit comes in a very powerful way, He alters our life. He reorientates the compass that we use to gauge and to navigate our life. When the Holy Spirit comes, this text is a powerful picture of what the community of God looks like on earth. Many people think that this text, Acts chapter 2, verses 42 to 47, is an impossibility. You know, when they read this text and they say, wow, if only this is possible in Singapore today, in this world. People say it's impossible. I think otherwise. I think it is possible. It is being lived out even as we speak. So I'll share this wonderful text for this morning. The Holy Spirit gives us a new power for life. He gives us a new passion, and He gives us new platforms to live it out. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, if you're not familiar with my sermon structure, it always has 3 parts. First is a recap, a reflect, and a response. So simple terms. So for reflecting, what's happening in my life, and the greatest things, the highlight of my Nepal trip is something that I want to share. And one word describes this highlight of my trip in Nepal is unbelievable. Something truly unbelievable happened in Nepal. Okay, what is this event? Next slide. Okay, do you remember Raju? He came for our Penang church camp last year. Show of hands, who went for Penang church camp? Okay, so you remember one of the Nepali brothers and pastors who came? So Raju is one of them. Raju is the guy at the bottom. That's his wife. Both of them joined us for church camp last year. And something tremendously happened to his life, which I will share. What happened is that in Nepal, there's this big organization that's called the Nepal Entrepreneurs Hub. They organize this agri-business boot camp from the 7th to the 9th of April. It's 3 days intensive, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Whole day they will teach you how to write business plans, how to pitch a business plan that can get funding, that can get people to buy in. So, and for the entire course, for the entire time that they spend together, intensive. They only sleep 2-3 hours every day. It's like a hackathon, you know, really grill the people. So last year, our friend Raju, he knew about, because every year they organize this agricultural business boot camp. So he signed up for it online last year. Okay, he was very excited about this because they only have 75 vacancies. For Nepal, this agri-business bootcamp is a big thing because it's organized and is sponsored by the World Bank. The World Bank has a lot of money, and for them to want to sponsor programs in Nepal is to encourage more Nepalis to come up with a sustainable business, to encourage growth, encourage employment, encourage the economy, etc., etc., etc. So technology, things like crowdfunding, startups, disruptive technology, these are the current buzzwords in Nepal. It is still in its infancy stage, okay, because let's face it, Nepal is still largely rural, 58% still lives in the village. So for all these startup technologies, crowdfunding, these are things that is limited to a small proportion of the people in Nepal. Mostly the young people with smartphones and who are tech savvy. So for our dear friend Raju to know of this is a feat. Okay, he probably searched online, he found it, so he wanted to sign up. So he signed up last year for this year's Agricultural Business Bootcamp. They only have 75 vacancies, and he said that there were 3,005 who signed up, but they could only accommodate 75. So when he told me that he was selected, I was very excited for him. Okay, for him to make it. Wow, this is big. This is big because the potential is incredible. So what happened was I did not know how he fared until towards the end, maybe on the 9th of April. Then I got a text from him. You know, he told me, oh, Didi. Didi means big sister in Nepali. He said, Didi, please pray for me, okay? Because 75 they selected, right? I'm one of the 75, and I was given 1 minute to pitch my business plan to these executives of the World Bank and all these big NGOs. So every one of the 75 got 1 minute of airtime. So he got selected from the 75 to 35. So he made it to the 35, okay? So that's not it. But out of the 35, they chose 10 business plans, okay, to the next one, and he got into the 10. And not only that, he told me, Didi, I am in 2nd place. Wow! So, all these are the text message. Whoa! We got 2nd place. Yes. And my final pitch is coming up in 1 hour's time. I've got 5 minutes. So please pray for me. I have a very strong competitor. My competitor is a doctor. And he's very well recognized in the NGO network, in this World Bank network. So he's very famous there. And who am I? I'm just he's just a simple Nepali Christian farmer boy. Okay, he's really is a very simple person. If you've spoken to him, you know what I mean. So he said, please pray for me. My competitor is very strong. Anything can happen. So I replied in the text. I say, Raju, people may come in the name of experience and network, but you will come in the name of the Lord. Okay, who loves to use the weak and the foolish to confound the wise and powerful. Okay, so go in Jesus' name. Amen. Then he replied back the text, oh, thank you, Didi, for this strong prayer. Okay, I will go. So silence, okay, for 1 hour. Then after dinner, I received a text from him. He said, Didi, I won! I won! He said, whoa! I was so excited. I was like, wow. Of course, I feel very sad for the doctor, but hey, you guys won. I mean, he beat so many other competitors who are so much more experienced, and that's the picture of all the 10 selected, and there's his winning team on the left. I got all these from the website, apparently, because I wasn't there, and when I Googled it, true enough, his pictures are all there. So I was very excited. I said, oh, Raju, you won, so what's the prize? What's the prize? Is the World Bank going to fund your business plan? I said, I don't know, Didi, but we're going for dinner, and I'm going to meet all the top executives, and we're going to talk. I said, okay, all right, so I'll hear from you. He said, okay, go in the Lord's favor. May the Lord send all the money, to the business plan and fund the program that you have. So he sent a text, but I fell asleep. Next morning, I checked my phone, and then I saw his message. He said, oh, Didi, they want to hire me. Huh? They want to hire me. Then, aren't they going to fund your business plan? No, they want to hire me as their trainer. Wow. So I was, can you not try to convince them? No, they think that I'm a good guy and they want to hire me. And they offer him a pay package of 2,000 USD. That's an expat pay package. Okay, this guy earns only 200 Sing a month. Alright, for him to be offered a 2,000 USD a month, wow, to work with World Bank. And this World Bank wants to start up programs in other parts of Nepal, not in his village, so want to hire him to do programs in other parts of Nepal. So he turned it down. So in my heart, I'm thinking, wow, Raju, 2,000 USD a month, imagine the extra cash you have, the network you will have, so much more things you can do, right? Then he said, no, I shared with them my vision, my calling. My vision and calling is really to help the poor people in my village. That's why I come up with a business plan. It's for them. And I wasted too much time of my life. He's only 35 years old. I wasted too much of my time. I don't want to be distracted because this will take me away from what I want to do. And so I want to be focused. And Raju actually gave up a very good NGO job before he joined us in the ministry. He earned about 300 USD a month. And then when he joined us, he only got 200 Sing a month. Okay, so that was a tough pay cut for him, but he endured it. Why? Because of his love for the ministry. He believes in our work to empower the community, not just in church planting, but also in community development. So he took that sacrifice a few years back, and now with this, he wants to start this business program for the poor in his village, and now this distraction comes. So World Bank is a distraction for him. So he turned it down. So I felt very sad, but yeah, I felt very proud of this brother. I mean, he really, if I were him, I think I'll take a longer time to decide, but he was very definite, he was very clear about what he wants to do. And so he turned it down. So to me, that's unbelievable. Okay. Yeah. So reflection, what's God saying? Next slide. Okay, a different kind of people will make a different kind of community. And today's text is taken from Acts chapter 2. Next slide. Acts chapter 2, verse 42 to 47. All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, and to sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper, and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshipped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day the Lord added to the fellowship those who were being saved. The people and the community they form in this picture is an excellent graphic description of what life in the Holy Spirit really looks like. This is the incredible good news being lived out in tangible terms. Okay, when the Holy Spirit comes, He actually enables us to accept what God has done for us in spite of who we are. And the result are all these amazing works. And then, of course, God's supernatural act of affirmation, signs and wonders, and of course, exponential growth. So we see that all the believers met together in one place. They shared everything they had. Those who had or could sold their property and possessions, and they shared the money with those in need. And each day they worshipped together in the temple, met in homes for Holy Communion, shared their food, and there was great joy and there was great generosity. And we read that the result is a deep sense of awe, a deep sense of miraculous signs, and all these signs and wonders happening was something that they enjoyed the goodwill of God as well as the people. So the community has quite a reputation. Okay, next slide. They are known for three things. Okay, they're known for defending the poor, for working within boundaries, and for trusting God for results. So these are the three simple short points. So if you're taking notes, you can just start taking down. Okay, first point, they defend the poor and the vulnerable. Verse 45. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. The mission of Jesus is inseparable from the poor and needy. Right from the start, when Jesus began his ministry, he quoted from Isaiah chapter 61, "Spirit of the sovereign Lord is upon me, and the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor." And most of his time was spent with the poor and downtrodden. He has an intense love and interest for the poor and the needy. And he taught about them, he taught them, he ministered to them. Many things he spoke about, revealing the Father's heart for the poor and the vulnerable, the widows, the orphans, the immigrants, the foreigners. And Timothy Keller says that Jesus moved in with the poor. He moved in with the poor. He lived with them, he ate with them, he associated with the socially ostracized. He raised the son of a poor widow, and he gave great respect to immoral women of his day. Matthew 25 is a very vivid picture. In fact, that's Jesus' most powerful picture of what it will look like when God comes to judge the nations. Two groups, the goats and the sheep. And so who will inherit the kingdom? The parable says that those who feed the poor, give water to the thirsty, show hospitality to foreigners, clothe the naked, care for the sick, visit the prisoners. These are the people who will inherit the kingdom. And when Jesus ascended to heaven, his disciples also continued his legacy. Okay, James says, next slide. James says in chapter 2, suppose you see a brother or sister who has no food or clothing and you say, goodbye, have a good day. Stay warm, eat well. But then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do? So you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Okay, John as well repeats what Jesus said in 1 John 3. If someone has enough money to live well and sees a brother or sister in need, but shows no compassion, how can God's love be in that person? So love without compassion is not love. Again in Micah chapter 6 verse 8, next slide. He has told you, O man, what is good and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice, love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Compassion is feed the hungry, clothe the naked, give water to the thirsty. But justice takes one step further and asks, why is this person naked, thirsty, hungry? And what can we do to repair the system that has contributed to this condition? That is the difference between justice and compassion. So turning a poor man's life into a delight, in essence, is to do justice. And this is how Jesus, the Lord's anointed servant in Isaiah chapter 42, describes it. He brings justice to the smoldering flax and the about to die out candle flame. Okay, Jesus tends to the weak, the about to give up situation, tends to it, and not just content to keep it alive, but to make it flourish, to make their mourning into dancing, to plant their feet on higher ground so that this little reed will not just stay a little reed forever, but it will grow into a righteous tree, or a big tree of righteousness. Again in Psalms 10, next. Psalms 10 verse 17-18. Lord, you know the hopes of the helpless. Surely you will hear their cries and comfort them. You will bring justice to the orphans and the oppressed, so mere people can no longer terrify them. God knows the hopes of the helpless, and He fulfills the desires of the poor. He brings justice to them, so they no longer need to feel that they are oppressed. Think about it. The poor have hopes, and the poor have desires. But poverty robs them of these two things. And for whatever reason, because they cannot earn, that's why they are poor. And giving them handouts, okay, doesn't help. It actually hurts them. Because giving them handouts pushes them into a life of dependency and despondency. There's no dignity in giving just plain handouts. And you find that if a person who keeps receiving handouts end up not having any hope for the future. It's meaningless. That's why a lot of people on charity, so to speak, end up abusing themselves, alcohol, drugs, because a life without hope or dignity, keep receiving without doing anything about their lives, is a downward death spiral. So when you really interact with a genuinely needy person, not a lazy or opportunist person who just asks for the sake of asking, but when you really interact with the truly needy, I've come to discover that they feel a very deep sense of shame when they ask for money for themselves. Yeah, they feel very shameful to ask. But they have no choice because the bills still need to be paid, school fees still need to be funded, food still need to come. So they have no choice, they have to ask. And it's a big hurdle for them to open their mouth and ask. Because deep down, they want nothing more than to be able to earn their own keep, support themselves, support their family, have enough to bless others. That's what they really want. So giving them a handout, like a small interest loan, is better than giving a handout, because that's what they really appreciate. It is to bring hope to the helpless, to make a poor man's life turn from dread to delight. This is what justice really means. So that you see the community in Acts 2, it is full of joy on all levels. There's no sign of shame, no despondency, no dependency, no sense of superiority. It's all full of joy and generosity. And this community, they really defended the heart of God for the poor, and they made it come true, they made it come possible. So in a nutshell, this is a community of evangelism, compassion, and justice. Next slide, please. So they mirror God in defending the poor and the vulnerable. So first thing that they're famous for is this. Second thing that they are well known for is, number 2, they work within their boundaries. Verse 46. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity. The entire community shared everything that they had with all who were needy within their midst, and all of them were satisfied. So he says that they sold properties, but they still met in homes, meaning they didn't sell all their properties and all their homes, right? But yet, that was still enough to feed and to tend to all the needs in the community. The text also says that they met all the needs within their midst. They met the needs within the community. It means they only met those within the community, right? I mean, if you think about it, there are a lot of needy people outside of the community, but they didn't go and try and save the world. They met the needs within the community. And the believers served everyone in their midst. You can also read it as they only serve those in their midst, those who have come to the faith. So, likewise, we are not called to serve every single needy person. Right? It's okay. Don't be afraid to say no. Because at the end of the day, the disciples limited themselves to obedience. They ministered to this one community in this one city, which is in Jerusalem. If there is a deep sense of awe in CNL, and if all our pastors can do signs and wonders and miracles, I won't stay here. I'll go all out. I'll tell everybody, about these amazing things that is happening here in this church. I'll go all over the place. But they didn't. Yeah, okay, Jesus told them to go Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth, but they were obedient at this point of time because Jesus told them to stay put. So, in a nutshell, they were obedient to what Jesus wanted them to do, met the needs of the community, and they did not allow themselves to be tempted by Satan to go out beforehand, tempted by worldly or fleshly power and influence. They would spread the gospel eventually, like Thomas did, he went to India, but at the meantime, at this point in time, they were following the Master's footsteps in limiting themselves, knowing where the boundaries are. Jesus, the Son of God, also limited himself to just a small country in Israel. I've heard this from Pastor Terence. He said that, if I was as blessed as Jesus, I won't just stay in Israel. I'll go to Rome. In fact, I'll levitate there. And then I'll do miracles in front of Caesar. And I'll throw fireballs from heaven. I'll do a lot of amazing things. Then the world powers can really believe in God, right? But Jesus didn't. And that really sparks my mind thinking, wow, this is a powerful person, limiting himself to just one country. And not just in one country, but just a few small towns. And he didn't heal every single person that comes. He knew exactly what he was supposed to do. He did not lose focus. So if Jesus, the Son of God, the community in Acts chapter 2 knows to limit themselves, to know the boundaries, then if we do that as well, we can also live like they did. No regrets and no apologies. God also didn't position them to change the current religious system or the political structure. The disciples just formed a separate, parallel community that reflects God's heart and character. They didn't try to assimilate into the broken system and try to change it from the inside out. Although that could be what God is telling us, but at that point in time, that's not what God told them to do. They were obedient and knew exactly what they were supposed to do, and they did it perfectly, obediently, faithfully. So it is a community that knows her scope of ministry. They mirrored Jesus in working within their boundaries. Point number 3, they trust God for the results. In verse 47, it says, they enjoyed the goodwill of all the people. Each day the Lord added to the fellowship those who were being saved. So who gave them favor and who added to their numbers? That's a no-brainer, the Lord. Okay, ultimately, this is the work of the Holy Spirit. This is God's mission. And the disciples were merely obeying the great commandment and doing the great commission. They were just being faithful to love God, to love others, to make disciples, to teach them to obey all things that Jesus has commanded them to do. And they believe that God is not over with his work. The prophecy is still coming to pass, and they are active agents in what God is doing in the world. So they realize that they are just joining God in what he is already doing. So God is at work and we're invited to join him. That sounds quite ridiculous because if you really think about it, who are we? Who are the disciples? They're just a bunch of blue-collar fishermen. They're not even religious elites. They have no political power, no influence, but who are they? Who are we? When we are small, and when we realize how small we are in this whole world, we can begin to doubt. How effective can we be? What will others think of us? Will we be successful? Can we reach the needs? We can have all these thoughts coming into our mind. But then again, the posture of the community in Acts chapter 2 is that they did not have to worry about public opinion. They don't have to worry about their own competency or their capacity. They just trust that God is doing the work. And with that, there's great liberty and freedom for them to do and to be obedient. So, being in a community of God requires us to first and foremost trust God. Okay? Whether or not we gain favor from men is not important, it's secondary. Whether or not we do powerful signs and wonders is also secondary. Whether or not we have large numbers is also secondary. We just do God's bidding. Just do what He wants us to do, which is the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. Just to be faithful to do this. And remember that our God is in control. And He Himself is moving the mountain. And He's asking us to put our little hands on the mountain. So when the mountain really moves and topples, it looks like we are the ones pushing the mountain, but actually we all know that God is the one who pushed the mountain. We're just putting our hands there. So the third point is that community is a community that trusts God to deliver, and they mirror Jesus in trusting God for the results. And in many ways, Raju, our friend, he personifies these three traits. He gave up a very lucrative job in order to defend the poor. He didn't go anywhere or everywhere that the World Bank sends him. He's very clear. His scope of work is for the poor in his community, and he was steadfast to it. And of course, he trusts God to deliver, not just the results, but everything. Okay, this guy's bank account is like scraping the zero. In fact, he has no savings. So when he turned that offer down, it's a very tangible show of faith that God, I trust you. Not only for the results of my business plan, but literally for my livelihood. I'm trusting you to provide, not from the World Bank, but from you. So it's an astounding merge of lessons that I learned. So next slide, response. What am I going to do? We need to put it all together. Okay, when the Holy Spirit is in charge, all of us will also be known for the same three things. We will be a community of evangelism, compassion, justice. We will know our boundaries. And of course, we will trust God to deliver. Okay, I'm not trying to say that if we are not like the Acts 2 community, then we better get our act together. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm also not saying that if we do whatever the Acts 2 community did, then we are fine. No. I'm also not saying that if we do what the Acts 2 community did, then God will bless us with signs and wonders and numerical growth. No. Okay, all I'm saying this morning is that the opportunities to be the Acts 2 community will come, and we will be led and drawn into it in a very natural way. There will be no pressure, no compulsion, no obligation. You don't even need to go on a guilt trip. It will just be a very natural thing. And this is the new power that I'm talking about this morning. So to illustrate this, I have three stories to tell. Three stories. First story is the J and C story. Yeah. Okay, Jason and Christina are missionaries sent from our church in 1998. I think some of you were still little kiddos then. Okay, so they did all the good things that a missionary was supposed to do. Okay, they empowered the churches, they ministered to pastors, they taught, they did church planting work, they did a lot of the ministry. They were very successful, praise the Lord for that. And then came a friend who, he's a trekker, he's a trekking guide. So one day he came to them and asked, Jason, I've got two boys from Mustang. Mustang is like a super remote place up in the northern part of Nepal where there are no trees. It's like a rocky landscape. It's very near to Tibet. So he said, I've got two boys. Do you want to take them in? Because if you don't take them in, I need to send them to the monastery. Because the parents are too poor, they ask you to bring him down to Kathmandu and put him in a children's home. So he asked Jason and Chris, do you want to take these two boys? So Jason and Christina at the time was like, oh, okay, you know what? Let's do it. Rather than send them to the monastery and learn about Buddhism, why not let's house them? Two boys only, not too tough. Give them a good education, teach them about God, and then maybe when they grow up, they have a good chance in life. So that's how they started, from two boys to now 40 over kids, all of them on the right. So after a while, giving them education, giving them food, clothes, they realized that this is not enough. I mean, this act of compassion is not enough because there is a government ruling that kids above the age of 18, they are no longer allowed to live in the children's home. They have to go out and find a room, rental somewhere. They cannot stay in the children's home for protection, for whatever reason. Then they realized that, oh no, our boys, 10 years ago, now they're teenagers, and then very soon they will be, in fact, some of them have already passed 18 years of age. So a few years back, they really began to think, how can we really help our children? Because after getting an education, they need more than that. They need livelihood, they need employment, they need something in order to earn, to rent a room outside. We need to make sure that we think for their livelihood, to think for the future. So this is what it really means. If you really care and love for the people under your charge, you won't see compassion as just an obligation. Like, okay, I've done my part, I've given you all that you need, now whether you sink or swim, it's not my business. No, they really think about doing them justice, thinking ahead on their behalf, making sure that they succeed in life. And that's why we have the Singma restaurant, and then we are going to start this hotel business so that kids can work after they finish their education to provide them with a sustainable livelihood for the future. And in a nutshell, you got to think, you got to plan, you got to do a lot of things for these kids. And doing them justice means this, bringing justice to the children in addition to just doing evangelism and compassion. And this is the first story. See, the kids are so big already. So more of them are coming, and they are really praying for the hotel business to start. It's not started yet, so keep praying. Second story is the cross-border missions story. Okay, since 1997 to 2013, we have been, as a church, have been involved in church planting missions. We've been doing evangelism and church planting. So today we have 215 churches, so the number outside must add another 10. It's not 205, now it's 215. So the number's always changing. And if you average it out, every congregation about 60 people, you calculate we have 13,000 people. 13,000 daughter members that has come out of Center on New Life. Alright, so that's really amazing. That's of course all of God's glory, who has sent us very, very nice, capable, competent people in the field. So from 2013 onwards, right after the Super Typhoon Haiyan that came to the Philippines and affected our pastors, we officially launched into compassion together with evangelism, because we can't just preach the gospel, we have to do something to help our pastors. That's how we got into doing compassion. And so we built houses for the typhoon victims. And of course, lately, in the 2015 Nepal earthquake, we also ended up doing house building, rebuilding for the survivors. So for all of us who gave generously to the both projects, Philippines one is of course completed. The Nepal earthquake rebuilding is still happening, slowly but surely. We still have a lot of funds left, that's why I didn't ask for any more. We will only ask when we have finished the first batch. So we have finished about 75 houses, almost halfway. And then we start the second phase. So it's going on nice and slow, praise the Lord. So that was in 2013, we launched into compassion. We did good works in addition to our church planting initiatives. And this year, 2017, I want to formally announce that we will include justice into our compassion and evangelism. Okay, it's not just feeding the poor, giving them houses, not just sharing the gospel, but now we ask, why are the people so poor? Why did they lose their houses on the earthquake? Okay, and to think about viable solutions to help them make their life of dread into a delight. So number one, for our house rebuilding project, okay, we ask, why did the old house collapse? Why did it collapse? It collapsed because the builders didn't follow the engineer's drawings. They just built according to the experience. So the metal rebars is like tic-tac-toe. Very sparse, very thin, very under-provided. So we realized that this is a gross injustice to the construction industry. So we came up with this process that will make any Singaporean proud of us. We came up with a checklist, okay, a construction inspection checklist. For every stage of work, there will be an inspector who will sign off. You know, make sure that the concrete is mixed according to the correct proportion. Not too much sand, not too much concrete, not too much gravel, not too much water, just nice. Every stage, there will be a checklist. Every house will have a checklist of all the items that needs to be inspected and signed off. So that at the end of the day, we know that the houses are built according to standards and we can all sleep well. And the house owners can all have a very safe, certified, earthquake-resistant house, not earthquake-proof. Okay, if the earthquake really shakes, if there's an epicenter, nothing can stand, but it is earthquake-resistant, certified, checklist, photograph, everything, so that we know that this is what it means for us to bring them justice to the earthquake victims. And number 2, we are starting a livelihood project. Okay, you see the lady there? That is house owner number 1. Okay, her name is Ishori Bogati, house number 1. Okay, after we help her build her house, we realized that she needs livelihood. She needs to feed her 2 children, right? So what? She wanted to start this organic tomato farm. So we gave her a small loan to start this organic tomato farm. So after 2 years, she has repaid the loan with interest. Praise the Lord. And she's able to earn 30 to 45 USD a month. That's a pretty impressive feat. Of course, among her neighbors, for us, she's like the star story. We need more success stories like this to encourage people that look, after the earthquake, there is a life ahead of you. Don't look back, just look forward. And of course, after helping her with this project, the next project is, of course, Raju's agricultural business plan. So we're gonna start to raise funds to help him to start this program, although World Bank not funding. But anyway, we have the best man for the job. We have a man so qualified that even World Bank wants, okay? But he's with us, and his heart and his soul is with us. So that's half the battle already done. So we're gonna start funding start raising funds for his agricultural farm, organic and processing farm. So pray for more success stories like these, okay? So that we can have a strong movement among the people to begin to right the wrong that they have been suffering for after all these years. And thirdly, we also hope to come up with viable ways to generate employment for educated but unemployed youth. Okay, a lot of the young people after finishing education, they can't find jobs in Nepal. That's quite sad. I mean, there's a failure of the government. And a lot of them have hopes and dreams of going overseas to work. So those with the means, they will go. Study overseas and then work overseas. But for those without the means, what do? They take a big loan and then they go overseas. But they don't have the qualifications. So they end up being construction workers or cooks in the Middle East or security guards somewhere, right? So a lot of them, when they go, they come back, they have to pay back the loan, and most of the time they come back with zero. Like, you go and come back, you just have the experience, but you don't have enough money to start off. So if this persists, which is now currently happening, then Nepal will have a brain and manpower drain. All the young people will leave. And who will look after the country? You're left with all the old people and all the corrupt people. So we have no concrete plans yet, okay, but please pray with us. And actually the mission team that's coming in July, they are going to kickstart this initiative called the MasterChef Challenge for the youth leaders. MasterChef is to open up their minds to think that, hey, with a little bit of ingredients, I can cook up something different. Teach them about financial planning, being financially credible, integrity, give them skills to think outside of the box. They don't have to go overseas. And that is our prayer. That's the prayer of the mission team that's going in July. They want to encourage the youth leaders to encourage themselves, as well as the youth that they're leading, that they don't have to go overseas. That right now, where you are, is possible to make a living and to be successful at that. Okay, third story. This is Joy's grandmother's story. Okay, this is something closer to home we can identify. Okay, so Joy has an 83-year-old grandmother. Okay, she's so independent that she refused to live with any of her relatives. So she lives alone in Taman Jurong. So what happened was, recently she fell and then she broke her thumb. So painful. So because Joy is usually working overseas most of the time, so we took it upon ourselves to go and visit her and pray with her. Okay. So Pastor Joe, we drew Pastor Joe to go with us. And if you think about it, Pastor Joe lives in Tampines, and she lives in Lakeside. So this morning I counted 24 green buttons on the MRT line, and that's a long distance, 24 out of 28. So it's really a very long distance. But anyway, for CNLers, I'm very proud to also confess that we are very good in evangelism and compassion. Anytime anybody has a need, CNLers will be there. You can trust me. This is what we are known for. So we go and visit her, we buy kueh, we buy kopi, we buy cakes. And evangelism and compassion 是我们的强手, this is our strength. And what happened was, after we've been doing this repeatedly, we discovered that, recently Amma not very outgoing, she stays at home. And then we wonder what's wrong. Of course, she has a lot of other issues, but one of it is that she's not able to hear. Okay, whenever you ask her something, she answers you back something else. And you have to shout across the room. And even when you shout, she doesn't hear you very well. So we encourage the family, get your Amma a hearing aid lah, so that she can hear and engage in conversations. It's safer also for her to cross the road, right? Can hear the cars coming. So we accompanied her, get the hearing aid, wait for about 2-3 months to finally get the hearing aid. So when she got it, life was really good. Okay, she was so happy. She invited all of us to her house. She cooked a nice meal, to say thank you, right? So I thought that was the end of the story. I thought that, this is justice done perfectly, and now she's hearing, she's happy, her life is a delight. So 2 days ago, before prayer meeting, we went to visit her. Then I realized that, Amma doesn't want to wear the hearing aid anymore. So we were like, how can you not wear the hearing aid? We're all so bothered, and we were like, Amma, this is good for you. No, I don't know how to operate. It's very noisy. So when we heard that she rejects this thing that can make her life a delight, she rejects it, we felt very bothered, and we did feel a bit of a distraught over this. Why did you reject something that can make your life better? But then we failed to realize that ultimately doing justice is not plain sailing, it's not a smooth journey, it's mindsets that you are actually tackling, and mindsets take a long time to change. So for whatever reason that she rejects the hearing piece, we will have to continue to pray and walk with her. That this is not just about ensuring that she puts it on so that you can be happy, but she is happy the way she is. So let's do justice the way that Jesus did it in Isaiah 42. He says that he is a servant who does not go on the streets, shout it out. He actually trusts God to do the work. So it's a good reminder for all of us, again, that when you embark on compassion, justice, evangelism, you really have to trust God to do the work. And somehow I have to trust God that He will make her somehow put on the hearing aid one way or another. I don't know how it will turn out, but I trust God to do the work. So this is basically what it means to do justice, in this case for a whole widow, how to bring her life into a delight. And it came to us in a very natural, logical way. So in all these cases, did God shout at us? Did God boom His voice? Did God compel us? Did we feel guilty? Did we feel... No. It was just a very natural progression. The doors just came, and then we just... No compulsion, we just walked into it very, very naturally. And when we usher in God's kingdom on earth through evangelism and compassion, justice is just the logical next step that expresses the character and the heart of God. So what about us? Our story. Next slide. Our story. So 2017 is season 1 of Center of New Life's mission mobilization. So the first team leaves for Boracay, right, in 2 weeks' time. So the last time an official CNL team went on missions was, I think, more than 5 years ago. So if you were part of that team, and when you now go on this new mission trip, you realize that the landscape is totally different. It's no longer just evangelism, no longer just church work, but there is compassion element to it. And of course, there will be the element of justice. When you go to Batam, Malaysia, and of course Nepal, you'll see all these things being added onto the landscape. So because we have added all these things onto the missions landscape, that's why all of us qualify to go on missions trip. Because if it's just evangelism, then 90% of us will not qualify as fiery preachers and Bible scholar teachers. We won't qualify. But because we are not just looking for pastors, yes, we still need them to anchor the spiritual context. We still need people who are willing to reach out and without any strings attached, people with a good heart to just bless. We also need people with the skill sets to really contribute to systems that are not working, broken, or just totally misplaced. We need people to design and develop viable alternatives to the systems out there that is not working. So now missions is multidisciplinary. It is a collaboration of multiple fields of work on multiple levels, right? So we need all kinds: health, education, law, food, technology, finance, industry, infrastructure, logistics, construction. You name it, we need it. Okay, the world needs it. So all of us are needed to come and impart and invest your skills and your knowledge. So besides pastors, everyone with a skill is needed to help form a viable, credible community like the X2 community. Honestly, rarely in this third group of people, the specialists, pastors sure will go lah, people who have the heart also will go lah. But the top group, those specialists, it's a challenge to rope them in. Okay, why? Because they're good in what they're doing. They're always busy, right? They're always busy. It's very hard to get them out of their busy schedule to go and do something to bless the missions field. And it's a challenge, I understand, to carve out time to go on mission trip. So I salute all the 208 people who have signed up for mission trips. I really salute you. And most of all, I honor all those who have made it possible for these 208 people to go. Okay, for you to sacrifice after the family, or your spouse or loved ones are on a mission trip. I really salute you. Thank you very much. The X2 community gave their time, shared their treasures and their talents to the poor and the vulnerable among them. So the question we ask ourselves is, who are we devoting our time, treasure and talent to? Next slide. All of us are already investing our time, talent and treasure. It's just a question of to whom and where is our time, treasure and talents going to. Okay? So according to a 2014 World Resource Institute, okay, most companies or most businesses focus their business on the mature economies, the 2.5 billion people, the top and the middle part. And there's this huge chunk of people at the bottom who lives on less than 5,000 USD a year, the 4 billion people. And there's two guys called C.K. Pralahat and Stuart Hart. They coined the term base of the pyramid. So to highlight these 4 billion people who are not served. So on the world map, you can see where they're distributed. The blue color ones are the base of the pyramid, the blue color countries like South Asia, Middle East, Africa. That's 4 billion people, and that's where Raju and Ishwari, that's where they live. Okay, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum are the red zones, the US, Europe, Australia. These are people who earn $2,000 a year and above, which means you and me. And it's also where we live. Singapore is also on the red dot. So, and everything else in the middle are the green and the orange, the emerging markets. China, Russia, Asia, 2 billion people. So this concept is not just country specific. I mean, in Singapore, we also have the poor and vulnerable. So Joyce Amma is one classic case. So most of us spend most of our time, treasure and talents on the okay and well-to-do people, meaning the 0.5 billion population, half a billion people. Because when you ask, who does my company serve? Where are my clients based? Who do I usually treat a person to a meal to? Who are these people? You realize that they're actually quite well-to-do. They actually belong to the top of the triangle most of the time. And these are questions that we need to think so that we can reconsider, replan, readjust. Because it's easy to focus on our own work and our own job. It's easy to work with integrity, work with our skill sets, be honest, work with a joyful heart. This is really important. Okay, very important of Christian life, but that's not all there is. As Christians, we need to think persistently and deeply about the shape of work in our fields and whether it gives human well-being and whether it accords to it biblical justice. Right? So if your work or if what you're doing does not fulfill what I just said, then what should we do? Okay, most of us who are just starting out, we're not in a position to change anything in our company, but the time will come when you have accumulated enough influence, enough power, enough networks for you to do something about it. But in order for you to do something about it, there must be a sustained reflection. Think deeply about how your work can be influenced for the bottom of the pyramid people. Okay? So when the day comes, when the Lord opens the door for you, you're ready to go. So it won't start until you start to think deeply. Nothing will happen unless you begin to think about how your work can actually change under the lordship of Christ. And then when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready to go. Start your own business, or do something different, or change the way your office is run, or change the focus of the office that you're working for. Proverbs 21 verse 3 says, "To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice." Okay. So this year, all of us will get a chance to really touch the bottom of the pyramid, right at the bottom. Because mission trip is really going all the way to the bottom. So to devote our time, our talent and treasure there. But let's not end here. Okay, I pray that after this sermon and your mission trip, it will just be the beginning of something else, not just checklist for you to do and then that's it. But when the king is welcome, God wants to establish his kingdom. So the community in Acts chapter 2 makes perfect sense because they are expressing something that's internal into something that's outward and tangible. Right? It is spirit-filled disciples who understood what is unconditional grace given to them and how they're giving out undeserved grace to people in the midst. So God enables us to understand what Christ has done for us, and the result is a life poured out in incredible works of justice and compassion for the poor, in full trust that God will deliver and God will ultimately do what He wants to accomplish in our lives. So one last word, last slide. So we are going to the very bottom of the base. Okay, not the rich poor like Amma, but the poor. Okay, the one on the right, not the one on the left, the one on the right. The poor, the Ishoris and the Rajus of the world. So when you head out to missions, I only ask one thing from all of us, just one thing. Please plan to go back again. Please plan to go back again. Don't just go and then come back and then don't go anymore. Because short-term missions of this kind, touch go and don't go back, it doesn't benefit the mission field. It doesn't benefit the hosts in our mission field. Because it's tiring and it stretches their resources. And many times they have to bend over backwards just to accommodate us for that 5 to 6 days. Planning logistics itself is a challenge. I've done it before. It's really not easy. It's not like Singapore, so easy, call a Grab, call an Uber. It's a lot more complicated. So, yeah. So don't just go and come back, but plan to go again. Our Singaporean habit doesn't help us because I know Singaporeans, we must shower 2 times a day. Okay, and that is something very hard to sustain. When it's very hard for our host to help us sustain our Singaporean tropical habit to shower 2 times a day. Okay, because unlike our efficient public utilities board, they don't have pipe government water from the taps. So all of them have a well, and then they pump the water to the top of the tank on top of the house, and then by gravity it feeds the taps in the house. So you need 2 things for water to come out of a tap. First, you need water. So if it's a dry season, no water. Then second thing you need is electricity, because even if there's water, you need electricity to pump it up to the top of the house. So you need these 2 things. But sometimes, even when you have water and when you have electricity, I still cannot flush. Why? Because it's choked. The toilet bowl is choked. Because our Singaporean habit use too much toilet paper. It's very stressful on the plumbing system too. So for them, it's honestly for the economically less well off to host the economically more well off is a challenge. They really want to have us come, but they really feel very bad that they cannot give us what we are used to. Okay, they totally salute us for downgrading, coming down to stay there. They're very, very happy. They're really, really happy. But they're also very sorry, to make us walk or to make us shower to make us shower only once a day, or they feel very sorry for that. So what happened is when they came for the church camp last year, they saw how convenient and how comfortable our life is. They really asked aloud, wow, why on earth did Jason come to Nepal? What do we have here that made him come all the way here? So they know, they are aware, they are highly aware that they like us to come, and they want us to come. But they are also very painfully conscious that they feel very bad, that they cannot give us what we are used to. So it's a challenge, but don't be discouraged, because the moment they see us come back again and again and again and again and again, then they know that we're not coming out of curiosity or obligation, but that they know that we really care about them and we want to join with them in their journey. And our heart is for them in the long term. So that's why go again. Don't just go and then don't come back. All right. Joy's grandma is one classic example. Keep going back and visit. You're not just doing it on obligation, but it's a true concern that's deep. So I know this is a tall order to ask everyone to go back again, but I'm hopeful. I pray that at least half of us will bind our hearts to their hearts and make return visits again. And that this is something just in the beginning. Okay, ultimately my intention is not to make all of us missionaries. That's not my intention. My intention is that all of us will be engaged, spirit-filled disciples in your field of influence with the vision of the bottom of the pyramid, the poor and the needy, constantly before you. To have that interest before ours. So, if you don't remember all that I've said, then please remember these three things: your time, talent, and treasure. Give your time, visit them on a regular basis. Okay, offer your talents by researching, bringing in projects that can really help them achieve some form of sustainable livelihood, make their life a delight again. And share your treasure by investing in these plans and developing the people right at the bottom of the pyramid. And the mission trips offer you all these three things. So I'll leave you with these three T's. Okay. So I'm going to pass this time now to Pastor Terence Obu. Kindly.
Thank you, Janice. Why don't we just, there's just so much that God, was challenging us about. How many of you came to hear Janice? No, you didn't, right? You came here to hear Jesus. You came here because of the one who died for us. But God has used Janice, right? And moved in her life and spoken to us through her. So why don't we just quieten our hearts right now? There was so much that was being said, and there was so much that I feel the Lord was challenging us about. I'm going to invite the worship team to come here and maybe just soften our